His Excellency Mr. Mohan Pieris, Ambassador to the Permanent Mission of Sri Lanka to the United Nations, Mr. Emre Ismailolu, General Manager, Turkish Airlines, New York, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Feds of Sri Lanka, the tourism promotion event. I'm Shamika Kweju, Regional Manager, Sales and Marketing for Sri Lanka. Thank you to each and every one of you to being here with us today. I'm very happy to see many ambassadors, permanent representative to United Nations, our tourism experts, professional as distinguished hospitality industry representative at this event. One of the key goals of this event is to promote Sri Lanka as a tourist destination and present as an attractive and secure tourism market for American visitors to Sri Lanka. I would like to call upon His Excellency Mr. Mohan Pieris to deliver welcome speech.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My task today is something very, perhaps not traditional for a mission here to the United Nations, but perhaps it's not too different to the extent that in as much as I would probably canvass for Sri Lanka in the United Nations, I probably have to canvass for Sri Lanka before you, to an audience that perhaps lifts Sri Lanka to a different level in the travel industry. My dear friends, it has been said that Sri Lanka is an island that everyone loves at some level inside themselves. Inside themselves. A very special island in which travelers from Sinbad to Marco Polo dreamed about. A place where the contours of the land itself forms a kind of a sinewy poetry, if I was to put it in poetic terms. In the year 1293, interestingly, Marco Polo sailed homeward bound from China. It was perhaps the Belt and Road, which we are talking about today. Pausing at Ceylon along the way, he wrote, and this is what he said, quote, "On leaving the island of Andaman and steering for thousands of miles a little south of west, the traveler reaches the island of Ceylon. This is, for its actual size, is better circumstanced than any other island in the world." Now that's one hell of a recommendation, isn't it? As far back as in 1293. Marco Polo surely was not wrong. Now, Marco Polo's contemporaries considered that this was given to exaggeration, undoubtedly. But remember that there were other island collectors. I use this expression deliberately, island collectors. And I'm fairly sure you can let your imagination run riot and identify the island collectors historically. And these island collectors, the Portuguese, the Dutch, and the English, admired Ceylon enough to occupy it successively for almost 450 years. There must have been something nice about it, isn't it? To fall in love with someone for 450 years. Some 35 miles off the southerly tip of India, this 25,000 square miles of territory, an independent republic today of 22 million inhabitants, now called Sri Lanka, is one, perhaps, if I was to say, one of the world's last penny dollar paradises for travelers, my dear friends. A penny dollar paradise for any traveler today. So permit me the privilege and the honor to welcome you to the Sri Lanka Mission this afternoon as we endeavor to take you on a tour of the different facets that Sri Lanka has in store for its visitors. This mission is pleased to, of course, today partner with Turkish Airlines in organizing this event, and we thank Turkish Airlines for this excellent initiative and partnership. Thank you very much. I must not perhaps fail to mention and be diplomatic and say, well, Turkish Airlines, Turkey Airlines perhaps. Yes, indeed. Yeah, right. It is only fitting, therefore, that I mention the signal contribution by the Jetwing team, which is led by its chairperson, Shiroma Kure, who's here with us. Shiroma is here. Raju Arsaratnam, a veteran in the travel industry. I hope Raju won't kind of object to that terminal expression. And the Turkish Airlines team of Emre Ismail Olu, the general manager, who's here with us, and Alp Osman, the regional manager, and Shamika Kueju, who comes all the way from Colombo, who are to be with us here this afternoon. We are deeply grateful for your presence. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as a prelude to the presentations that you will see from both Turkish Airlines and Jetwing, let me, in a nutshell, tell you as to why you should think of Sri Lanka as a holiday destination. What's so magical about us? Now, as some of you will be aware, we are a relatively small island, or perhaps to use the oxymoron, a big small island, if I was to use that expression, of around 65,000 square kilometers. But within its small area, we cater to a diverse array of tastes and interests, which has over the years captured the imagination of many travelers and adventurers. Now, in this landmass, we are proud, and we say we are really proud, to host 8 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And 2 of them are natural sites and 6 cultural sites. Now, as you would see, if you were to look up a map of Sri Lanka, there are sunny, sandy beaches straddling 1,600 kilometers around the country. There are the tropical rainforests in the peripheries of the western province, the tea plantations and the cool climes of the mountains in the central highlands, the archaeological sites of the cultural civilizations that flourished over 2,500 years in the north-central part of our country. Sri Lanka is therefore also home to a number of endemic species, both fauna and flora, and has the highest species density to a number of endemic species of flowering plants, amphibians, reptiles, mammals in Asia. Now, the species density, that simply means is the number of species per 1,000 square kilometers. My dear friends, there are also the famous whale watching and dolphin watching in the southern and the eastern waters of Sri Lanka, the ideal beaches for surfing down in the eastern seaboard, the adventure trails and the spiritual attractions of our temples and the religious places that will bind the interest of any traveler and perhaps whet the appetite of any traveler who wants adventure at its best. Now, you may perhaps ask me the question as to why and what was so special about Sri Lanka? Why should anyone want to go there? Now, after all, remember that these things exist in other countries as well. So what's so exotic or exceptional about Sri Lanka? Yes, there is one thing, ladies and gentlemen, that is special about Sri Lanka. And that is the accessibility to all its diversity in climate, in the environment, in culture, in its historical sites, religious sites, and the breathtaking landscape, all within the reach of a 5-hour drive. As simple as that. So there we are. It's therefore of little surprise, I say, that that Lonely Planet in 2019 designated Sri Lanka as one of the best destinations that one could visit. Now, that was before COVID engulfed all of us. But as we get to grips with the realities of this new normal in which we work and open up once again to adventure, I urge you, my dear friends, to take a positive look at what Sri Lanka has to offer. I'm sure you will find something that caters to each and every interest. We have with us today, as I told you earlier, the chairman of Sri Lanka Tourism, who will join us in a virtual environment in a few minutes' time. We have with us, as I told you, the representatives of Turkish Airlines and Jetwing, a household name in the tourism industry, as I mentioned to you before. And we also have Mr. Rasika Wickramasinghe of Basilur Tea, a tea marketeer par excellence, to treat you to a demonstration of tea tasting and the preparation of that excellent cup of Ceylon tea. And that's what we talk about so much. And that's not all. We have some surprises in store for each one of you, for the lucky winners of a draw which will treat you to a business class ticket to Sri Lanka and stay at a leading 5-star hotel. These will be offered to the luckiest of you all at the end of this event. So this might well be your lucky day. So there you are, my dear friends. So I lay this invitation before you to treat yourself to this resplendent isle of Sri Lanka and to powerfully attract your patrons. Literally, I say, seduce them into this chance to experience the many attractions that Sri Lanka has to offer. This gem of an island, my dear friends, that is Sri Lanka, is a spectacular place to visit. It is a never-ending list of things that you can see and do in Sri Lanka. The world's leading travel authorities consider Sri Lanka as a destination of great diversity, beauty, and says it's an absolutely captivating country. I wish all of you today a great evening of discovery. Enjoy the warm Sri Lankan fellowship and hospitality, and the eyeful scenic presentations that will seduce you, as I say, and your patrons to take wings to paradise that awaits you. Treat yourself to this sumptuous menu which we present to you this afternoon, and enjoy this evening as much as you and your patrons would enjoy Sri Lanka when they set foot on that soil which is God's own country. Enjoy the afternoon. Thank you.